Hello, everyone. Welcome to Working to a Shoot, the YouTube page. My name is Davis Wright. Thanks for tuning in. We had our fantasy draft, and we crowned a champion of making a fantasy card. T. Phoenix garnered the most votes in our fantasy draft show vote, so congratulations to him. But I've got these 64 names with nothing to do with, so I figured, why not take a nice even number like 64 and put them in a hat, draw them out at random, and have ourselves a 64-person fantasy elimination tournament. So here is the hat. Clearly not mine, my son's. Thank you, Baby Wright, for loaning the hat. All 64 names are in the bucket. We will draw them out one at a time. I will post them. My phone is leaning up here against a laptop, ready to go with a bracket. So we will draw each name one at a time. We will set up the fantasy bracket at that point, and then the voting will commence, much like the voting for the fantasy draft shows. It'll be on Typeform. I will send those links out accordingly. I won't have you vote on every first round matchup. I'll divide them up. So here we go. Entry number 1 is, I know they're real tiny, sorry, the Mighty Bosch. The Mighty Bosch goes to the top of the bracket. And his opponent in the first round will be Tough Talk, Tony Spencer. Tony Spencer. The next name out of the hat will be, who we have here? We have King Leon, the Black Blade. And King Leon will take on, in the first round, again, this is completely fantasy. I'm not booking a 64-person tournament, especially in the middle of a pandemic. He will be taking on the Right Stuff, Stephen Lust. I apologize for the clacking in the background, but I got to type them in as I draw them, otherwise I'll forget them. Next out of the hat is one half of the NCW Tag Team Champions, Ricky Medeiros. And Ricky will be taking on, could we pull out Jason Devine? Oop, I grabbed 2. I'll put them both back. I'll draw again. We take out, the American Hammer, Dan Terry. Okay. Almost done with the first half of the, the first quarter of the first half of the bracket. All right, next name out. The first female drafted is the first female out of the hat, Isana. It's a little blurry there, sorry about that. And Isana takes on, again, grab 2, 1 fell out. I will put them both back and redraw. And this time I've got Bullet Joe. Bullet Joe to take on Isana in the first round. All right. Now the bottom half of the first, of the one side of the bracket, I guess I'm trying to say. And this will be Robbie the Giant. Robbie the Giant going to the top of the bottom. You know what I'm trying to say. I hope you do anyway. Robbie will take on, interesting, but I believe she's been in the ring with men before. Not that she's getting in the ring. I gotta stop saying that. Kennedy Copeland. They're not getting in the ring with each other. This is all just for, to steal a line from Adam Salzer, Shiggles. Up next, Delilah Hayden. And Delilah, let me mix these up a little bit more here. Delilah will take on Chris Pyro in the first round. Up next, out of the hat is, who we got? The ace, Mike Montero. Who will the ace be taking on in this complete fantasy land? Grab two again. These things are so tiny. I should have made them bigger. The ace will take on Hot Shot Deshawn. All right. And next up, this makes for an interesting second round matchup if it happens. AJP. AJ, that would have sucked. They almost knocked over the hat. AJ will take on Nakoma Tala in the first round. All right. So there's our first 16. And we will move on to the bottom half of this bracket. I've lost all sense of what's bottom, what's top, so I'll just say the next match. Here we go. Next match. The Golden Boy. Whoops, too close to the camera. Harry Brooks. And Harry, in the first round, will take on BRG, Brett Ryan Gosselin. That would be a doozy if it was going to take place. Next up, did I grab one? Yes, I did. Perry Von Vicious. And we will see who's up next. It is Retro AG, Anthony Green. Next, coming out of the hat is Riot, Kellen Thomas. One of my most recent guests on my Working to a Shoot podcast. I highly recommend you go listen to it. It was a great conversation. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, shameless plugs all around. Kellen's opponent in the first round will be the prize, Alec Price. Next up, the current NCW champion, Vern Vicalo. And Vern will be up against in the first round. Interesting little matchup here. Cipriano Abruzzi. Next up is, that's backwards. My number one draft pick, Insane Dick Lane. And Dick will go up against, they're all stuck together. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry to do this to you. Bobby Rossi. Oh, Bobby, I'm sorry. But who knows? Maybe you'll win the vote. Next, the man from the town of rock and roll, Jammin' Jack Connor. Jack will take on... Who did I grab here? Oh! Young talented kid here, Charlie Cashew. Next up, out of the hat, one of the Platinum Honeys, Angel Sinclair. And she will be up against Alexander Lee. Put him in the right spot. There we go. Give these a nice little toss here. Last matchup on the first half of the bracket is Osiris and Osiris in the first round will go up against the heavy hitter Shay Cash. All right, so that completes one half of the bracket. We will move over to the other side where the top of the bracket, grab two, sticking together. Now I got one. Rip Bison. And Rip will go up against the Terror, Tom Billington. Next up, these are starting to get a little sticky here. Mix them around a little bit. Next up is Foxy Calvin Campbell. And Foxy will be going against the Freak Show, Sean Leader. All right. Next one, Tim Kilgore. And Tim will be facing Derek Conway. Up next, Lumberjake. And who is Jake gonna take on? Still got some big names in here. It will be... Oh, well, it looks like I've got a choice here. It's either going to be Theodore J. Liftington or Judge Logan Chambers. I would like to see Liftington against Lumberjake. So that's who I'm putting in there because it's my tournament. Next is Chris Cruz. I always liked announcing him into the ring just because of his name. Chris Cruz will take on, I believe both the Baker boys are still in here. It might be his partner. It is not. It is Jason Devine. Next, out of the hat will be, took two. It will be Vinny Abruzzi, the Saturday Night Delight. Let me hold that a little better so you can see it. There we go. And Vinny will go up against... Why am I saying that like a Canadian? I don't know. The Future, Jamie Tucker. My fictional NSWA television champion, by the way. Up next, Corinne Mink. Corinne will take on Darley Decimo in the first round. All right, this is the last matchup of the top half of the other side of the bracket. Guess what? I grabbed two. Now I got one. The Masshole, Mike McCarthy. And he will be up against this would be an interesting matchup, and I would like to see it. Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon. So the final 16 to be drawn out of the fireman's hat. First up, Kevin Giles. Giles will take on the real AJ Hutt. AJ's got a squirrel in his house, and he's feeding it. Next up, Davey Cash. Davey will take on... Oop. I'll be right back. I dropped it. It is David Baker. Getting down to it. Well, I grabbed two and I got an empty bracket here, so I will take these two. Tyler Cintron will go up against Christian Casanova. All right, getting down to the final few here. Grab one. It is Picture Perfect Sierra. And next, grabbed two. Next up, Frank Bones will take on Sierra in the first round. I believe we've got 8 left here. Up next will be Devin Baker. See that, Devin? All right. And he will go up against Chris Dozer. A hard-hitting contest right there if it were to happen. It may already have. I don't know. I'm still green. Izzy Stars, the next name out of the hat. And Izzy in the first round will take on the other multiple personality in the hat, Richie Sick or Burke Beckett. I am going to go with Richie Sick. So we will put him on there. Let me just scroll down here, see what we got left. We got 4 names left in the hat and 4 spots to fill, so I did this right. Thank God for that. The first of the final 4, Devin Blaze. Devin will take on the other Platinum Honey, Ava Everett. And the final 2 names to come out of the hat is Nick Marchand and Revolution Chris Venom. All right, so the field of 64 is set. I will post a group of 16 at a time for the first 4 votes. And then after that, it'll be the full round. So you'll get a bracket of 16, a bracket of 16, a bracket of 16, bracket of 16. And then after that, I'll go with the whole round. As far as voting is concerned, I'll explain it more once the time comes to put them up. But that is the bracket. I will try to shrink this down and take a picture of it and post it on my Facebook, so it's a little bit easier to follow. But thank you for tuning in. Another fantasy type event here while we deal with this pandemic. I hope everybody is being safe, being healthy. Just stay strong, and we will see you real soon. But for right now, Davis Wright signing off. So long.